Have you ever imagined a piece of land so beautiful, where all you see are clear blue skies, ranges of snow-capped mountains, glimpses of refreshing rivers and lakes, where nature is at its best, and you feel that if there was a heaven on earth, this would be it. The northern areas of Pakistan are one example of such enchanted beauty of nature, covering a huge area with snow-capped mountains, glaciers, lush green valleys, and rivers. Here, the world's greatest mountain ranges unite, the Himalayas, which literally mean the snow land. The Karakoram and Hindu Kush ranges are characterized by high elevations, steep-sided rough peaks, and high-altitude glaciers of astounding size. The northern region of Pakistan has the highest concentration of high peaks in the world. 37 out of the 100 highest peaks on earth rest among these ranges. 5 of them are over 8,000 meters and 108 peaks are over 7,000 meters. Among them is the Baltoro Glacier, one of the longest glaciers having a length of over 60 kilometers, complementing the beauty of nature in Gilgit-Baltistan, and is surrounded by the several other high peaks over 8,000 meters. These mountains and glaciers give rise to many rivers and glacial lakes, which pass through beautiful mountain valleys hidden amidst these ranges. These valleys are home to a culturally diverse and multilingual set of people belonging to different areas of Pakistan. The culture, costumes, music, and cuisines of the northern areas of Pakistan have an element of uniqueness about them. Some of their cultural festivals include Navroz, Jashn-e-Bahara, Shandur, Babusar Polo Festival, and Harvest Festival. The natural and cultural beauty of the area serves as an attraction for tourists within Pakistan and abroad, and maybe that is why it is also called Heaven on Earth. This region is a source of interest for earth scientists and geologists as well. Karakoram and the Himalayas are one of the world's most geologically active areas. They form a boundary between two colliding continents and are thus important in the study of plate tectonics. The region also draws attention from the social sector due to the severe damage that global warming has caused to the area. With increasing average global temperatures and higher than ever levels of CO2, global warming has become a highly critical issue. This change in climate will have diverse environmental and socio-economic effects in the longer run. Changes in rainfall patterns due to climate change are likely to lead to severe water shortage and/or flooding. Melting of glaciers can cause flooding and soil erosion. Climate change has become an important factor of extreme events such as floods, droughts, and heavy rainfall events. These events are likely to increase as the climate change continues. While glaciers in the northern parts of Pakistan contribute to the beauty of the region and give rise to glacial streams, they hold a threat for the environment due to rapid climate change. Warming in the northern regions of Pakistan has been noted to be above global average. These rising temperatures are causing glaciers to recede from 40 to 60 meters per decade, and hence making the northern regions of Pakistan vulnerable to several climate change hazards such as floods, avalanches, and landslides. As glaciers melt, glacial lakes are formed, and water is filled up in natural moraine or in ice dams at the bottom or on top of these glaciers. The moraine or ice dams containing the lakes can breach suddenly due to extreme volumes of water, leading to Glacial Lake Outburst Floods, GLOF.
On the index of vulnerability, Pakistan is ranked amongst the top 10 countries of the world because it suffered a lot due to climate change. Government of Pakistan, understanding the need of the time, created Ministry of Climate Change at federal level after the 18th Amendment. I would like to highlight over here that the Government of Pakistan, considering the potential dangerous lakes, took an initiative by involving the international donors, adaptation funds and UNDP, and initiated the project in year 2011.
GLOF can release millions of cubic meters of water and debris, which can be as high as 15,000 cubic meters per second, enough to make the communities nearby witness their worst nightmare. During a GLOF incident, a small mountain stream can suddenly develop into an extremely turbulent and fast-moving flood some 50 meters deep. On a plain, flood becomes somewhat slower, spreading as much as 10 kilometers wide. Both cases hold terrible threats to lives, livelihoods, infrastructure and economic assets for the exposed community. Mountain communities living in the locale of glacial lakes and glacier-fed rivers are highly vulnerable.
Well, Pakistan is probably one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change on the planet. In fact, it's one of the 10 most vulnerable countries to climate change. Not only is climate change going to affect all of our environment, but it's going to have very deep consequences on livelihoods, on security, on international relations, and on Pakistan's capacity to tackle poverty reduction, to tackle its development challenges. So the responsibility to tackle these challenges is of everybody, of course of the government, but of every institution, the private sector, and institutions like UNDP are here to support that. So this is a very important initiative that we are supporting by the government, especially in the north of Pakistan. And we think that by demonstrating how these communities can adapt in certain key areas, we can reproduce this throughout the country in the future.
In past, GLOF events have occurred every 3 to 10 years in the Himalayas with varying degrees of socio-economic impact. From 1950 till now, floods have caused severe destruction worth billions of rupees and have accounted up for thousands of lives. A total of 35 destructive outburst floods have been recorded in the Karakoram region in the past 200 years, and at least 11 surges of exceptional scale have been recorded so far.
कई दफ़ा यहाँ सैलाब आ गया। ये हमारे जो सामने जो गांव है ये काफ़ी ऊपर था। लैंड स्लाइडिंग की वजह से बहुत से हमारे बागात, ये दरख्त, ये घर स्लाइडिंग की वजह से ख़राब हो रहे हैं और मज़ीद ख़तरा है।
Recently, 5,218 glaciers and 2,420 lakes have been identified and mapped in Pakistan. Among the identified lakes, 52 lakes have been labelled as potentially hazardous and are likely to cause GLOF over the next few years to decades. Therefore, if appropriate and timely adaptation measures are not taken, the damage and destruction in terms of livelihoods and infrastructure will be irreversible.
यहाँ जो अभी काम हो रहा है वो हमारे सारी कम्युनिटी मिलकर ये काम कर रही है अपने तहफ़्फ़ुज़ के लिए, प्रोटेक्शन के लिए। वहाँ से जब सैलाब गुजरता है तो हमारे ज़मीनें जो हैं वो कटाव करके वो लेके भाग ले जाता है। घर भी आसपास नाले के साथ साथ घर हैं, माल मवेशी के घर हैं, बाड़ियात हैं, तो उनको भी बहा के लेके जाता था। इस प्रोटेक्टिव बंद की वजह से हमें तहफ़्फ़ुज़ मिलेगा उससे।
Disaster management is relatively a new field in Pakistan. Work is being done in the country to increase community resilience against monsoonal floods and seismic activity. However, taking measures to reduce the impact of climate change is neglected.
सालाना गर्मियों में इस नाले में सैलाब आता है, तो इस सैलाब की वजह से बहुत सारे नुकसानात इस गांव में होते हैं। इसमें जानी नुकसानात भी होते हैं, मकानात और ज़ेर काश्त ज़मीनें, बहुत सारे नुकसानात होते हैं, ज़मीन की कटाव होती है। तो अब यहाँ पर प्रोटेक्शन वाल बनाए जा रहे हैं, खुसूसन ये प्रोटेक्शन वाल जो बन रही है यहाँ पे, इसके ऊपर एक वाटर चैनल है जिसके पानी से नीचे गाँव की सारी ज़मीनें वो सैराब होती हैं। तो सैलाब की वजह से वो नहर कट जाता था और पानी की फराहमी मुनक़ता हो जाती थी। अब ये प्रोटेक्शन वाल जो बन रही है उसकी मदद से, उसकी वजह से शायद इंशाल्लाह बात मुस्तक़बिल में ऐसा नहीं होगा, ये मसला फिर नहीं होगा।
Because pati bota glacier ispa habin nigula kya halata giti ispa hera giti ugalisian kapala diti o hera giti hegola giti ahevrazo talisian ugani ahevraza biko khak ahni siran kapal chamuran hera giti ugaliko ispa bota glif he uga biko he ugosura kya qisma ki ispa sura rakho mare tami bojam boy he bachene.
In order to combat GLOF hazard, awareness and initiatives at macro as well as micro level are required.
The project GLOF has done well information, general awareness in terms of software and hardware both since its inception in June 2012 in Gilgit. They have been lending a very helpful hand to Gilgit-Baltistan Disaster Management Authority for information dissemination, for raising awareness among general masses and trainings as well. And we hope that they'll continue to welfare and well-being of our public, our population, our communities.
Recognizing the potential threat of GLOF to the northern communities of Pakistan due to climate change and the anticipated severe damage, UNDP initiated a project called Reducing Risks and Vulnerabilities from Glacial Lake Outburst Floods in northern Pakistan in Bagrot in Gilgit and Bindugol in Chitral. The aim of the project is to enable vulnerable communities to have a better understanding of the issues and improve community resilience for effective response to glacial lake outburst and to encourage adaptation to growing climate change. Pakistan GLOF project was designed to achieve 4 outcomes: strengthening institutional capacities to implement policies, plans and investments that prevent human and material losses from GLOF events in vulnerable areas of northern Pakistan. Improve access of disaster management planners and policymakers to knowledge, information and research on GLOF risks. Reduce human and material losses in vulnerable communities of northern Pakistan through GLOF early warnings and other adaptation measures. And project experiences documented and replicated. In order to address risk of GLOF, it is essential to understand the phenomenon and its potential threats.
चित्राल में लोकल कम्युनिटी जो है उनकी ज़्यादातर डिपेंडेंसी जो हमारी वाटर के लिए है वो ग्लेशियर पे ही होती है। तो लोगों को पहले ये पता था कि ग्लेशियर हमारे लिए अहम है, लाइफ लाइन है, मगर किस हिसाब से है, क्या इस ग्लेशियर में नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट भी होते हैं, क्या ये रिट्रीट होते हैं, ये पता नहीं था। पाकिस्तान ग्लॉफ प्रोजेक्ट के स्टार्ट होने से ये हो गया कि उन्होंने अवेयरनेस और सेंसिटाइजेशन बहुत ज़्यादा किया कम्युनिटी को। अब कम्युनिटी प्लस डिपार्टमेंट या जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर है वो सेंसिटाइज हो गए हैं कि जो ग्लेशियर है ये एक रिसोर्स है, मगर इनकी ये रिट्रीट भी करते हैं और उन पे ये क्लाइमेट चेंज का एक नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट भी पड़ता है।
Pakistan GLOF project conducted Glacial Lake Outburst Floods awareness raising workshops and disseminated IEC material to increase awareness of GLOF threats among all stakeholders and other associated political, developmental and academic entities.
Hava ludoma kya yogini haya giti aho jur spata telling price pa yogini sagin haya telling ga hatam spata fayda hoy biko haya project ar spata fayda hoy ha gol spano sando ho shoy hara hono boga ustam ha gol hon giti spara han dia lao shoy spa joyan dia lao shoy spa jani de khadra ho shoy spa ha punika pasmanda haya muj behchies.
Risk and vulnerability assessment along with hazard mapping has been completed by Pakistan GLOF project in Bagrot, Gilgit and Bindugol, Chitral.
Main responsibilities of DRMC include to provide facilitation to the Pakistan GLOF project in planning and implementing community-based activities in Bindugol Valley. We are also undertaking measures to strengthen these hazard watch groups to better respond to the natural disasters, including GLOF. In this context, we have provided them all logistic equipments, including tents, sleeping bags, and other accessories.
Demonstration of community-based GLOF risk management in vulnerable mountain valleys of northern Pakistan.
हमने इधर अपना एक तंजीम DRMC के नाम से बनवाया। उस ग्लॉफ वालों ने हमारे लिए 10 लाख रुपए का इंडोमेंट फंड दिया। हमने भी कमिटी शेयर के तौर पर 1 लाख रुपए उसमें जमा किए हैं। हमारे लिए तकरीबन 16-17 लाख रुपए से उन लोगों ने ऑफिस स्टेबल किए, ऑफिस बनवाए। उसमें जो सामान चाहिए थे हज़ार वाच ग्रुप वालों के लिए भी उन्होंने सामान मुहैया किए। 6 दिन तक हमें ट्रेनिंग दी। जो चीज़ें लोगों को मालूम नहीं थी इससे पहले, उससे लोगों को बहुत ज़्यादा आगाही हुई।
The establishment of DERC is in full swing and continue. The district administration is determined for its effective functioning and also adamant for maintaining its sustainability.
2 weather observatories have been installed by Pakistan GLOF project in Gilgit and Chitral districts to monitor and record basic metadata. In order to decrease the impact of GLOF in terms of human and material loss, Pakistan GLOF project has installed automated weather stations at Gilgit and will soon be installing them in Chitral as well.
ये जो ऑटोमेटिक रेन गेज है, इसकी इंफॉर्मेशन सैटेलाइट के थ्रू इस्लामाबाद मेट डिपार्टमेंट में जाती है और मेट डिपार्टमेंट यहाँ पे वहाँ से बैठ के देखता है कि अब यहाँ वेदर पैटर्न क्या चेंजेस लाएगा, क्या चेंजेस हो सकती हैं। तो अकॉर्डिंगली यहाँ ज़मींदारों को एग्रीकल्चर के बाबत और डिज़ास्टर रिस्क रिडक्शन और रिस्क मैनेजमेंट के लिए ये इंफॉर्मेशन वहाँ जनरेट होकर चली जाती है।
This will allow high altitude meteorological and hydrological data to be recorded. These automated weather stations will transmit real-time data to Pakistan Meteorological Department, which will help in devising an early warning system for the community at large.
अब ग्लोबल वार्मिंग की वजह से इन ग्लेशियर्स की मेल्टिंग जो है वो तेज़ हो गई है, जिसकी वजह से पानी के जो रवानी है उसमें मुख्तलिफ चेंजेस आ रही हैं। इसीलिए हमने बड़ा मरबूत किस्म का निज़ाम जो है वो डेवलप करने की कोशिश की है। ना सिर्फ हम वो लेक के लेवल को मद्देनज़र रख रहे हैं, बल्कि हम ये भी उसके साथ साथ असेस करेंगे कि दर्जा हरारत जो है वो बढ़ने से, सूरज की शुआओं की शिद्दत बढ़ जाने की वजह से, बारिश के एडिशन की वजह से उसमें लेक में क्या तब्दीलियाँ मुमकिना तौर पे हो सकती हैं।
Pakistan GLOF project has involved and trained the community by forming community-based hazard watch group and disaster management committees to monitor and report emerging threats from Glacial Lake Outburst. Engineering structures for mitigating GLOF risk for the downstream communities have been designed and their costing has been completed. All of the structural interventions are expected to complete in due course.
ये कि ग्लॉफ प्रोजेक्ट डिस्ट्रिक्ट गिलगित के लिए बहुत ही अहमियत का हामिल प्रोजेक्ट है और डिस्ट्रिक्ट गिलगित में डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के ताउन से और जिसमें हम कुछ अपने रिसोर्सेज शामिल कर रहे हैं और ग्लॉफ प्रोजेक्ट के एक बहुत बड़ी कंट्रीब्यूशन है जिसके साथ मिलकर हम डिस्ट्रिक्ट डिज़ास्टर एमरजेंसी रिस्पांस सेंटर एस्टेब्लिश कर रहे हैं, जिसके लिए हमें तमाम माली मुआवनत ग्लॉफ प्रोजेक्ट की जानिब से हासिल है।
More than 26,000 people directly benefited from the project, and indirect beneficiaries of the project are more than 1 million people of the vulnerable mountain communities in northern Pakistan.
The project has enhanced the access of policymakers, disaster management planners, and researchers to the information, knowledge, and literature on GLOF and other climate change-induced disasters through workshops, coordination meetings, IAC material, media campaigns, developing linkages and communication networks. We have initiated construction of climate change mitigation structures like divergence spurs, check dams, and gabion walls, and facilitated target communities in formation of valley-based disaster risk management committees. The project has also conducted and documented series of GLOF-related case studies and reports, which are now accessible to local, national and international community for knowledge sharing and further research on GLOF and other glacier and water related issues. I think for Pakistan, this was a very important project. Its impact on vulnerable people is now visible. They feel safer from GLOF disasters and more benefits are anticipated in near future. The project can also be used as a climate change adaptation and GLOF risk reduction model for replication in other glacier regions of Pakistan or elsewhere in the world.
Today, the targeted communities are cooperating with Pakistan GLOF project in implementing the project, reducing risks and vulnerabilities from Glacial Lake Outburst Floods in northern Pakistan, realizing that if they all do not take adaptive measures, regardless of what environmental conditions currently prevail, the enchanted valleys they grew up in, the people they grew up with, the houses they have been living in, their crops and livestock, which is the main source of their livelihoods, and their entire ecosystem with heavenly physical and cultural beauty will get washed away in a glimpse.